Hello, this is a short video just to show you what it actually looks like when we mark, or at least when I mark. I have been sent through the script, the exam text that you'll be doing, and the mark scheme. And the mark scheme is specific to the questions that we're looking at here. There is some guiding examples for us. We've also gone through a process of moderation where we have looked at a range of answers from the very poor to the outstanding, and we've marked them ourselves, and then we've seen what the senior examiners gave them, and we've compared our answers with theirs to make sure that we are at the same level as them. As we go through the marking as well, and we mark on the computer, randomly some of them have been marked by the senior examiners, and if we get a slightly different mark from them, it's highlighted, and if we get two different marks from them, we are then, sorry for the traffic, we are then stopped from marking for a while, and then we can continue once we've had a little bit more training. This is a constant process of training and feedback. But hopefully, once you've got the idea as an examiner and you found the level and you know what works, you can go relatively quickly, which is roughly where I am this year. So I get out my exemplars, and I know roughly what I'm looking for. This tells me exactly what the students are supposed to do at each level, and also gives an example of what that level looks like. I then look at the script that I've brought up, and I flick down through it straight away to see how much the student's written. They've written nothing on the last page, so I'm just going to put a mark there to show that I've seen it. And then reading it. And this one's got quite nice handwriting. It's going to take me a minute to read the whole thing, no more than that. And then I'm going to make a judgment on the three key issues. And this particular question is a question about how the writer has used language. It's worth 8 marks. And the main thing that we're looking for is a comment on the effect. What is the effect of the language choices on the reader? So this says, the writer uses a range of language to describe the conflict. From this, he has set quite tense atmosphere. The writer uses adjectives like startled to display this. Okay, fair enough. This student has some kind of idea about what they're doing. I'm going to read on. To emphasize the seriousness, there's juxtaposition. This leaves the reader in suspense. I like that phrase about what will happen. Ultimately, the reader will want to read on. Oh, it's a terrible generic phrase. On line 11, the scorpion described as moving delicately. This betrays the scorpion as being innocent. Does it? This juxtaposes the original feelings. What original feelings? You haven't told me anything about that. Okay, so it's taken me about a minute, and I know that this student has some really good ideas, but they cannot explain their ideas in depth. They probably know what's going on with this text in broad terms, but they're not clear about what the writer's done here and here and here. So I'm now going to go through that, and I'm going to drop some comments in case this is flagged up, or in case the school or the parents or the student themselves want to see a copy of this or challenge the mark that they've got. This here, to show the reader how serious the situation is, this is an attempt. This is not a successful explanation of the effect. So I drop over here one of these comments that have been left for me in order to standardize the process. This is an attempt to comment on the effect of the language. It is a level 2 skill, basically. It's on the ranking. 4 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. This is an attempt, not quite successful. We go on, and again, there's not much. There is another attempt here to comment on the effect of language, and it is an attempt, but it doesn't really make much sense. So I'm going to put my comment there. However, what I have got here is at least 2 bits of text. Okay, so we've got those adjectives, and then we've got another quote here. So there are at least 2 quotes, so I can drop in some appropriate textual detail. That generic comment, and yes, that has been selected, and it does broadly match what's been saying. It's not analysed, it's not perfect, Doesn't completely match, but it's an attempt to use the language. So that's another level 2. This is very, very broad. It doesn't add anything. In fact, this last line, I don't think you can see. It just says the repetition of very slowly, very smoothly highlights the, and then it stops. So this student clearly has some quite good ideas. They've run out of time. They might have taken this question last. I don't know. I can't give any marks for that, for just saying there is repetition. You found it, great. That's not what I'm assessing. I'm assessing the effect on the reader. So I'm going to say this student has some understanding of language. I'm sure that they do. I'm going to say that there is definitely an effect to comment on the effect of the language, and I'm going to say that there is some appropriate textual detail, that's evidence, being used. So this is clearly a level 2, and on the mark scheme I can therefore award 3 marks or 4 marks. The example that I'm given says, the writer is showing Kino is trying to protect his family from the evil scorpion. That's clearly an understanding. The writer is describing the scorpion as the music of my enemy, the foe of my family, suggesting Kino's family is in danger. That is a clear inference. And the adjectives, scary, secret, dangerous, show the scary situation. That is very clearly an attempt. And it's a better attempt than this one. So I'm not going to give it the highest in the band, the 4. I'm going to give that a 3. Okay? And then I'm going to click this button and a new one magically appears. And this one I'll do in real time in my head to show you just how quickly the examiners go through. So, first of all, we've got a much longer answer. I said it in my head, but I talked to myself. The writer uses whistled in as much as complex sentence. Looks like a hunter. That's a misunderstanding. So, an attempt to comment, but not a successful one, because you haven't really understood what's happening there. Stay there. You stupid comment. Please stay where you're supposed to be. Okay. I can't put the comments over the text in case somebody else comes and remarks this later on, which doesn't happen very often, but it can. Yeah, okay. Again, there's a great idea there, but you haven't explained it. It's an attempt, but there is a range of textual detail. The writer uses contrast. So far we're down to a level 2, or up to a level 2 rather. Use delicately, emotion. Oh, that's so close, but again, that is an attempt. And again, it's actually an attempt due to a misreading. I would suggest that this student probably hasn't taken the time to read the text, fully understand it before starting to answer questions, which might be why they've got quite long answers, because they're starting to waffle a bit at the end, because they've got the time to waffle. Would be much better for them to take the time to read and think and read and think. Sorry if you can hear some kids. I'm doing this on a Saturday morning, obviously. I haven't got the AC on because it's only June, so sorry for the sleeves as well, or lack of them. Use an oxymoron to describe a scorpion. Exaggeration. Once again. Right, so nothing raises this above the level of 2, but there is some nice detail there. There is some clear use of subject terminology. Overall, again, we've got an attempt, but this attempt is high in the level. This student has some really good ideas. They're just not explaining them clearly. So I'm going to give that a 4, and then I'm just going to flick down and make sure I haven't missed anything. Click on, and another script appears. Okay, and we repeat this process about 500 times for each question. At present, I'm doing the question 2, which is roughly equivalent to our question 2 or 3. And we go through these, grind through them, making sure we stay hydrated. And then in about a month, we have finished and we have our summer holiday. Okay, so when you're writing your answer, think of the examiner. Think of making it clear what you want to say. Make it easy for them to find the things they're looking for. In this case, the effect. Make it easy for them to find your points if you're making a point. Particularly in question 5 of paper 1, where you're comparing, make very clear points and then explain your points. If the writer likes the point, they'll read the explanation very clearly. If the writer thinks the point is weak, they can kind of skip over it a bit because it's not going to up the level. Okay, there you go. Hope that's useful to you. Enjoy the term, because you won't see this till September, will you? It's June for me. I'm looking forward to holidays soon, but you've just finished yours.